Hello, is this Mr. Gambino here with a new video? In this video, I'm going to be mainly going over the experience improvements coming to Grand Theft Auto Online with the Andreas Mercenaries DLC, but first I'll go over very small glimpses of like a trailer analysis kind of thing. But personally, I don't really think I'm the biggest on getting little details in like trailers and stuff, so I didn't want to do too much of a thing here. Plus, I think Rockstar actually claims like monetization or something when you do like the videos in full or whatever they do. So I want to cover this image and stuff here first. So starting off, I think the like gold gun here is definitely that new tactical SMG. This could be a very unique, cool, like, finish thing on it, for sure, I think. And this thing might just be the same, like, SCV thing from the previous Newswire thing when they first revealed Andreas Mercenaries. There's this brand new, like, off-roading looking truck. I believe this one's definitely brand new. Does have some resemblance to stuff like a trophy truck and stuff perhaps, but I am definitely believing that one is totally brand new. I think all the other guns are pretty much just ones that's already existed in the game personally. And then the jet here, there was a little glimpse of the jet in like the trailer where you actually can see like what weapons and stuff it has. Looks like it has a front cannon, so it might definitely have some explosive stuff going on, but yes, going into stuff later on, it's probably not going to be anything super powerful, crazy powerful, or anything, at least directly in free mode itself. And then it looked like it had your, like, homing and then non-homing missiles, as you would expect as per usual. Not sure if you really see, like, the bomb-based stuff and, like, the first-person interior, but perhaps it doesn't get bombs, perhaps it does not. And then there was a hot ring. There looked to be a brand new hot ring, like muscle car looking vehicle in the trailer. Now going off of the hot ring Everon, I'm kind of going to assume that new hot ring ends up being in the sport class despite being more similar to like a muscle car. Because like the regular Everon was like an off-roader or whatever, but they turned it to like a sport for like the hot ring version that came out last update with the drug war DLC. That's kind of my thought for the classing for the new looking hot ring vehicle. And then there was another better glimpse of like the twin like propeller plane that wasn't like a screenshot with the aircraft carrier initially. They showed a better look of that, so it definitely looks like that's definitely a new vehicle confirmed, and I do definitely still believe that's going to be the Beagle returning from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And then, yeah, last but not least, pretty much, I think the last thing I wanted to go over was this helicopter here. Was not previously seen at all in terms of like the trailer and stuff. As you can probably kind of see here, there's no like rotor it looks like here and stuff. This definitely looks to be like a weaponized version of the Kanata that was previously available in the Criminal Enterprise DLC. So it looks like the Kanata will probably be gaining a brand new weaponized version. And that'll be the few minutes I go over like the trailer stuff pretty much. As for the rest, it didn't really reveal anything like new. It's kind of just mentioned a bunch of stuff that was already known. Aside for the last thing here, for the later this week, for details on how they're going to continue to build on an enhanced overall GTA Online experience, which goes into the second tab here. So now I'm going to be on to the main event here. Now, personally, I'm going to assume that these are not new vehicles. They were just mainly seems to be a Newswire covering like quality of life improvements. So I wouldn't really put too much focus onto any of the like screenshots here. I highly doubt it's going to be a new vehicle. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not going to like want to speculate on that, no. But yeah, the trailer I believe was from like June 6th. This is from June 8th, 2020 for the experience improvements kind of detailed on Rockstar Newswire. Rockstar creator updates, new ways to track career progress, balancing adjustments, and more will be some like highlight stuff there. And then here is just kind of saying stuff about them revealing new like improvements. Doesn't seem there's any crazy new details or anything there. And then yeah, the rundown. I'll be going over that all now. So this is an image of like those taxi like livery vehicles from the Drug Wars DLC, the Classic Q Broadway, and then the Willard Dora. Classic Q Broadway was a cool one that returned from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in the previous Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. As they've confirmed, when you have the taxi liveries on those vehicles in the upcoming DLC, you will be able to use them for taxi work. That's that little image there. And then starting off with vehicle updates here. This one's basically already been mentioned in my previous video I did over the Andreas Mercenaries DLC. Don't really need to cover that one anymore. Then something new with Moore's Mutual as well, though, that they did not reveal previously. Moore's Mutual will no longer charge for recovering personal vehicles destroyed during a contact mission. So you no longer have vehicle insurance during contact missions, which is quite nice. Honestly, I didn't really feel it was the most necessary thing they needed to do per se, but that's definitely quite a nice thing there. Third bullet point here was one of those few that I previously covered already as well. Fourth bullet point here will be another new one here. The ability to select from individual Fords when requesting vehicles from the Eclipse Boulevard Garage. So maybe right now it's like all 50 of your vehicles in like one, which is quite crazy actually. The office garage had like the Ford system I believe already. If they didn't do that for the mechanic thing, like what were they honestly doing now? Better late than never though. As far as I understand, that's basically all of what that basically means. And then they explained the brand new F-160 Raiju, whatever pronunciation there for the plane. It's a brand new jet. They explain a bunch of stuff there, and that's the name for it. And pressing D-pad right will engage the stealth mode, it looks like. So it would be just like the helicopters. I believe the Buckingham Akula and then like the Annihilator Stealth, whatever. Those two I believe already had like right on the D-pad for the stealth mode. The reason they kind of clarify it here is it wouldn't really work too well on a plane if they didn't really do much changes. But yeah, right on the D-pad apparently does something pretty significant already, I believe, for like the plane, whatever. Or maybe it was more the concern about how like the VTOL would work, not so much the stealth mode per se. So yes, this plane will have stealth mode, so it will be the very first fighter jet in the game with stealth mode. I'll go over like pricing predictions perhaps a bit later here, but yes. This will also have vertical takeoff and landing VTOL capabilities, which makes the jet be able to take off like a helicopter and stuff, just like how the Hydra in the game can do right now. That will be L3 and then LS. And actually in the Hydra, I believe it was actually right on the D-pad for the VTOLs, so that's why they specified a stealth mode for right in there. So, and then it seems you have to hold L3 LS when flying it. And it sounds like all VTOL aircraft from here on out will be having the same combined controls of holding the L3 LS. Pressing should still have severe like landing gear and whatnot. But holding it was not necessarily assigned to anything, so this seems to be the perfect situation for being able to include both stealth mode and vertical takeoff landing VTOL capabilities here. And as for predictions for like price on this thing, I could honestly kind of see it being the most expensive jet in the game now, since it's going to be the most feature-rich one. Though the Hydro VTOL capabilities was actually less than the laser, so who really knows, to be honest. I want to say that like Hydra on a trade price is like around like $3 million. Maybe on like a buy it now price, maybe more like $4 million. So maybe something at least like 4 to 5 million on this jet. I could honestly see for sure. If not more expensive than the laser even. That's going to be my pricing predictions on that, to be honest. For some approximations. And going on to the next bullet point here finally. Option re-request active mobile operation center, Avenger, or Terabyte delivered closer to your location will apparently be a thing. So perhaps it spawns a lot closer than it used to. Maybe they add more spawns for them now. It can definitely make some quite nice stuff there. More filters, additional filters for race types and browsing the jobs menu. Should make finding certain types of races easier, perhaps like your street races, pursuit races, maybe open wheel I think is in the regular race category I believe as well. For examples. And yeah, this one's just a repeat bullet point. I kind of explained a bit earlier on with the image thing here. Last one for the vehicle updates here will be lesser used vehicles will be removed from in-game websites to streamline the browsing experience. Those vehicles will then be made available via event showrooms. So like luxury autos, premium deluxe motorsport, probably even like the test rides, Lucky Wheel, and then other places as well. So basically they're going to be vaulting vehicles in the game similar to what they do with the adversary modes and like versus modes and stuff in the game right now, where they bring back certain ones for like certain months, certain weeks, I would imagine more so for vehicles. Vehicles might not be as bad, it might be more of a per week, not a per month basis, like with game modes at least, but still. GTA is like an open world, like sandbox kind of game, and now they're going to be really restrictive on like when you can get certain vehicles. That seems to be like very anti like open world, like sandbox, like freedom style gameplay. It doesn't really feel that well with that doing this now, I feel. I would hope it's limited to just day one vehicles, but quite frankly, is there really that many day one vehicles you can like purchase on the in-game website? So unfortunately, they might be vaulting like certain older DLC ones as well. I've had them like vaulting vehicles already with the latest Los Santos Drug Wars DLC, making them only available for like 1 week at a time. I thought that was honestly quite the shit decision. Now they're doing it way more now, unfortunately. Oh my actual fucking god, no. Like, what the fuck? You at Rockstar actually thought that was a good idea. Maybe just do more like filters and stuff instead of like having only like a few different filters. They can't do like a second row of like filters or something. Like that seems like a much easier way to go about something like that, I feel. But okay. Yeah, this image I definitely don't think anything significant from that, obviously. Now onto some gameplay updates here. There will be a brand new register as a boss option for your interaction menu, very similar to the Secure Serve and Motorcycle Club, except basically you get both features in one. So I imagine you get like the spawning motorcycles instantly feature for your Motorcycle Club. And then you can run your like CO businesses, your MC exclusive businesses as well, all through one option. So there's definitely going to be quite the huge advantages to registering as a boss, but at the same time there can definitely be quite the disadvantage to it as well. For example, the Motorcycle Club, the MC businesses are known to have some of the most like hugest like strict like utility costs in the game, which is why I'm usually a CO and not like an MC and whatnot. And a virus thing might have popped up there for a moment, not sure that shows on the thing, but whatever. And then a buy all option apparently will be a thing with purchasing body armor, ammunition. Maybe you can buy more than 10 of one type of body armor now. That would be quite nice. I think you're limited to just like 10 body armors altogether and you can't get all of like a type. So that would be quite a huge change if they did that. Because I think the only times that can happen much is when you like get all the armor through like a mystery reward for like the casino wheel. And like through festive gifts and all that kind of stuff. Rank requirements for the body armor are also being removed for some reason, even though I doubt they were really all that strict in the first place. And like, body armor is really not the most essential thing. I feel body armor goes so much quicker than your health in this game, which is kind of crazy for like how long it lasts and everything. Body armor will be restocked after quick restarting the mission, matching the same body armor levels as when first entering the lobby. Essentially, it's just the same thing I think they did from the Criminal Enterprise DLC. I think they made it where you can keep the like starting amount of like snacks you had. So it seems to be that same thing from Criminal Enterprise, but with body armor instead. That's definitely going to be very damn nice. When equipping body armor via the weapon wheel, type of armor used will be relative to how much damage the player has taken. So it seems it'll count more for your actual like health and stuff now. That can definitely be something nice. When parachuting or in free fall, players will no longer receive the more annoying phone calls from Tom Connors or English Dave. I know they had the ability to like cancel those calls now, whereas I think before you had to like pause the game and stuff, but yeah, parachuting in free fall would probably be some of the most dangerous times you would be getting those, to be quite honest. Madrazo dispatch services no longer require multiple players and can be taken on solo. So just like with the Los Santos Drug Wars update, they're actually going back to previous missions and they're actually making less strict player requirements. But for some reason, those dispatch services required 2 players or more, which made me not a huge fan of those. And they were like very standard contact missions. I feel similar to stuff like the Premium Deluxe, like Repo Works and like the Last Play missions that would kind of come out later on and whatnot. So making it more streamlined, similar to the Premium Deluxe Repo Works and all that kind of stuff, definitely a very nice change. Similar to what they did with the Casino Story missions and the Drug Wars update. And then it mentions that sprinting thing again from last time around. Players will be able to select a name for their acid product via the interaction menu apparently, and then you'll get a 5% sell bonus for your acid product. So it seems acid can now become a bit more lucrative. And that was like $500,000-ish and stuff. Might not be the hugest thing at only like a 5% boost. I mean, but 50% for your like high demand bonus ends up being pretty huge. So an extra 5% more there could be kind of like a 55% increase you can kind of get up to now. So I'm definitely pretty curious where that puts Acid Lab now once that happens. Maybe still in like 500,000 range, but still something at least. Rank requirements for daily objectives apparently will be removed, allow more players to participate. Were rank requirements for daily objectives even that bad in the first place? But okay. That's honestly definitely probably a pretty big thing. Perhaps it was kind of hard to get some of the objectives if someone wasn't like an ultra completionist at the daily objectives. Then perhaps that makes that a lot more easier to pull off now, to be able to do certain ones that require multiple players, since everybody will be able to do this much more efficiently now. And then balancing updates here now. As I kind of mentioned at the beginning of my last video, I was definitely saying that the new jet will definitely not have the like crazy overpowered cannons. But yeah, there's going to be nerfs to the laser and then the Hydra. Or not multiple nerfs per se, maybe like one nerf. And they showed a B11 Strike Force here, so I'm not sure if they're like giving those like B11 Strike Force cannons for free mode in particular. Maybe it's there to show like how they're going to go about the rebalance. But the B11 Strike Force is definitely a much more rebalanced explosive cannon for sure. Not a super great one, but still. But yeah, starting off with balancing updates. Payouts on many collectibles and events, such as buried stashes and treasure chests, will be increased. So basically it seems they're going to make it more worth your while to go to Cayo Perico. Quite frankly, I do still think it's going to just be best to purely stick to the heist, to be honest, for the Cayo Perico heist. Not as anywhere near as good as it once was, per se, but if you're going to Cayo Perico, you should probably just do as many heists as you can and then just be right out of there. I honestly don't like increased payouts are really going to be all that much worth going out the way for now. And they're also going to correct payouts for Gerald's Last Play and Super Yacht Life missions upwards by $25,000. Not $25,000, but upwards by 25%. But Gerald's Last Play, I think I did like an episode of Contact Mission on those. I actually noticed that like payouts for these are not actually as good as the like Premium Deluxe like Repo Works, for example, from like 2019. So perhaps it makes these payouts more comparable to like the Premium Deluxe like Repo Works. Super Yacht Life missions, I want to say those are probably like maybe like 23,000-ish or whatever already. Maybe it gets it more to like $30,000 payouts for like 15, 16 plus minutes, which I don't really recommend spending that much time on contact missions per se, but definitely could be quite the nice thing to notice. So they're doing some like percent like permanent boosts similar to what they did in the Criminal Enterprise for certain things. Not as huge of an extent though per se, but still. And then rebalancing weapons on the P996 laser and then the Mammoth Hydra, free mode only. I'm very happy to see that they're doing free mode only here. That's definitely a very nice decision there. So you can still use them in certain like contact missions and stuff for the like original like day one explosive cannons. And something else to note is that it seems the Savage will be unaffected. Glad the Savage is staying exactly the same even in free mode it seems. Because the Savage is like kind of a slow and clunky helicopter. It's nowhere near as much of a problem as what the jets were. The main problem with these honestly wasn't necessarily the like explosive capabilities. I would imagine it was more like the splash damage. I think the cannons have pretty insane splash damage, which is why they're getting the rebalance and whatnot, probably. They hinted at all that in like a previous Newswire where they adjusted like vehicle prices and stuff in the Drug Wars update. But yes, it is indeed confirmed. Like people speculated it was going to be these two vehicles pretty much. And then another nerf they didn't really specify on before. That's definitely a very good decision because I know there's definitely all kinds of orbital cannon creatures in the game. The orbital cannon can no longer be instantly reset or refunded to prevent players from being repeatedly targeted. So it seems they're definitely going to be finally nerfing the orbital cannon, which has definitely been unscathed for years on end with no nerfs. Orbital cannon was definitely probably like the hugest problem in the game when it's like exploited and all that. And then career progress. This seems like it will be an exclusive thing for 9th generation for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S versions. But yeah, you can track criminal activities of career progress, and a feature that will display progression as you rise through the criminal ranks and establish your empire. You can get it on the main menu, or there's even ways to do that on the pause menu as well. So it seems there's better ways to see your accomplishments now. Okay. Not necessarily the most necessary thing, but I will gladly take it, I suppose. I'm curious to all the kinds of like nerdy stats that might be on that. And then this seems to be showing off some like creator capabilities I mentioned previously, Effect of Snow and whatnot. And they show like jack-o'-lantern stuff. Maybe that's some stuff coming up that's supposed to be seen later. And yeah, I feel like it kind of just mostly mentions stuff like community series with like their thoughts on some of the like jobs on that and whatnot. But I'm going to go over the bullet points in this part here. So dozens of new props will be available in all creators, and it will include giant license plate walls, E-cola cans, destructible fences, underwater mines, and more. I believe that license plate walls and E-cola cans are like a bunch of like the arena props. It seems you'll be able to use some of those like arena props in like all kinds of creator modes and not just arena like prop stuff now or whatever. destructible fences for like a dynamic kind of prop definitely seems very interesting, and especially the underwater mines. That could definitely be pretty interesting for like Stromberg like transform raises and stuff. Apparently that was maybe not a thing there before. Or maybe you just get to use those a lot more and like a lot more varieties and stuff now. Underwater mines are definitely probably the most impressive of those all mentioned there, for example. And yeah, the snow weather thing they mentioned already previously. Though for specifics, you can use it in death matches, races, and survivals. It seems it's a little more restrictive for the weather stuff. And then Halloween-themed editions will apparently arrive later this year. So it seems the Halloween-themed editions will be drip feed. Makes a lot of sense since this will probably hold over to the winter, and there'll probably be a dedicated winter update for like snow would be arriving early for the creator, rather than having to wait till like December. I'm assuming maybe you'll be able to get access to that Halloween weather as well, which would be very great. Halloween weather would totally be a very awesome thing to see in the creator. The option to toggle musical score on and off will be a thing apparently. You can also have options to distinguish teams by stunning outfits, which can give a lot better identity for the teams, perhaps. Deathmatches will now have options for dynamic teams. Change teams when respawning, health drain, where you lose health over time. New radar blip options. Ability to unlock time of day and weather options. I believe you can always change the time of day and weather right now, so it seems you might just be able to gain the ability to like lock it to certain types of stuff, which I don't understand how that's not been a thing for like 10 years now or whatever around there, but it's still better late than never at least. And then option to choose respawn time for items and weapon pickups apparently, and more. So definitely be able to like customize like respawn times on weapons can definitely make stuff a lot more balanced and stuff now perhaps. Increasing the number of enemy spawn points in survivals can definitely make survivals a lot more interesting. Fixture removal will apparently be added for the King of the Hill creator. And then the prop limit for PC will be increased to 300. Not sure if that makes it tied to like the 9th gen version, or like if it's a little more than what the 9th gen consoles can even do. I mean, it's a PC that can be like constantly upgraded, so something like that would probably be a whole lot more possible. And yeah, they just mentioned a bunch of stuff about like community series there again. And yeah, they say sharing more information soon, and detailed patch notes when Andreas Mercenaries launches. Since they do that before, like, and I assume like the information soon will probably just be on like June 13th when like the update launches. I feel this will probably maybe be the last of the information before the update releases for sure. But yes, I was definitely quite a bit of like change stuff and whatnot there, and I want to do like a few minutes of a small little trailer analysis as well. Something I actually kind of forgot to mention with trailer analysis though is you can actually, the mammoth thruster actually looks like it can be stored as well in like the Avenger, so it seems you'll be able to store the thruster in the Avenger, so you won't need to buy the facility for the thruster anymore, it looks like. But I think that will finally be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed.